Today we're talking about diving in Cozumel. We've been diving here for the last few days and it's been fantastic. So in this video, we're going to talk about, well, first the giveaway, why you should consider diving in Cozumel. We'll talk about when to go to get the best water, great visibility, and of course see the right marine life. We'll talk about where to dive. So I'll share the top dive spots that I think are worthy for any beginner or experienced divers. We'll talk about how. So how are you planning a trip? How do you get here and around? Giveaway as well. As you know, here at Diving, we test a lot of dive gear. So at some point in this video, I'll tell you how you can get your hands on some of the dive gear that we've been testing so you can bring it on your next trip when you're going to Cozumel. All right, let's dive in. Let's start with the why section. So why should you dive in Cozumel? But first, let's just put Cozumel on a map. Cozumel is a small island off the east coast of Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. So it's right across the water from Playa del Carmen. It's a 30-mile, 48-kilometer long island. Most of the action is on the west coast of the island, where the dive sites are protected from the open ocean. Most of the resorts is placed here as well, as far as I remember. So the island is a major tourist destination with the cruise ports, resorts, beach clubs, you name it. And it's really famous for diving, so this is really world-class diving. Cozumel is typically known for drift diving, thanks to this steady current that flows along the Mesoamerican barrier reef. That's the second largest barrier reef in the world. Currents typically range from, a half to 2 knots, but it can also go up to 3 or even more. So it can be a nice steady current, or it can be a really strong current. So you need to be aware of drift diving as a thing in Cozumel. Depending on the day, this means that you might have, a nice relaxing glide through or over the reef where you don't really have to do anything. Or it can be one where you really have to hang on with everything and just enjoy the ride. If you want to do photos and pictures, be ready with the camera or have an action camera that captures everything. Or be good at diving in currents because you can swoop down between corals where there is no current sweeping by. Dive here ranges from a shallow 30-foot, 10-meter depth to 30 meters, 100 feet, wall drops with towering coral pinnacles, swim-throughs, tunnels, cathedral-looking caves on the inside. For marine life, you can expect to see hawksbill turtles, spotted eagle rays, nurse sharks, giant parrotfish, schools of grunts and snappers. If you're looking closer, you can expect splendid toadfish, a Cozumel endemic species, and other small gems like arrow crabs, blinis, flamingo tongues, a lot of small nudies, a lot of small things. Really, really lovely to creep in and look inside. Cozumel is really known for, or great for all levels of diving, but far south are better suited for advanced divers with stronger currents and more depths. So in a minute, we'll cover all the dive sites you need to see, but first let's just talk about when to plan your dives. So we can really dive Cozumel year round, but for the best time, it's really from November through May. That's outside the hurricane season, which runs from June to November, and it offers a cooler, drier weather with better visibility, and often also where you'll see the big animals. We'll come more into what you can actually see. I was here in February. Water temperature was around 28 degrees, 82 Fahrenheit, visibility 30 meters plus, 100 feet plus on all dives. I wore just board short and a rash guard for all the dives. I think most in my dive group, they were doing a shorty or a long, like 3-5 mil wetsuit, but I was fine for all my dives in a rash guard. So really up to you. The currents are fairly consistent year-round, true, though it can be a bit stronger in the summer. Winter and early spring is the best time to see the eagle rays. I was lucky enough to spot them, and marine life overall was buzzing at the time of winter season. So on one dive, I saw 3 turtles, two tree stingrays, 1 nurse shark, and that was just like within 20 minutes, a healthy coral reef and all the fishes that evolves in as well. Now we're coming into where to dive in Cozumel. So it really has over 40 mapped or named dive sites, but all in all, they have probably more depending on the dive center you go with. Almost all the dive sites are located on the southwest coast. Why? Well, because the east side is, as I mentioned earlier, exposed to the open ocean and not diveable most of the year. So the west side is more protected, calmer, And this is also where this current is giving you a nice sweep in. So not really calm, but more protected. Here are the standout dive sites, in my opinion. Palancar Reef system isn't just one reef, it's actually a whole section of interconnected dive sites. About halfway down the island west coast, it's part of the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, as I mentioned earlier. So sites includes gardens, caves, bricks, horseshoe. They range from 10 to 30 meters, 30 to 100 feet, with massive coral heads, swim-throughs, you name it. This whole healthy coral reef is really where you get this amazing diving, a lot of spotting of turtles and eagle rays as well. So Rosa Wall is another dive site. It's really famous, and for good reason. You'll do the back roll entry or drop down from the boat, and you'll go down to around 21, 24 meters, 70 to 80 feet, and fly along this vertical wall, which really drops 100 feet below, but you can stay quite shallow on a small edge. Current here is quick, so if you want to do photos, be ready with the camera, just have the GoPro filming the whole time. That's another go for that. You can still sweep in and take cover for it, but this can get quite interesting in terms of drift. Columbia Reef is another dive site. It's further south of this, and it's known for the coral pinnacles, so massive sponges and lots of schooling fish around here. That's great for your second dive of the day because it's typically around 12 to 18 meters, 40 to 60 feet, and it features all the tunnels, arches, occasional eagle ray sightings as well, and you do get the turtles going in. Paradise Reef is another one I really loved. So it's close to town, and it's shallow, around 10 meters. This is perfect as well for night diving if you're doing that because it has less current. So if you are doing night dive, that's a place I would look up. We also have sites like Kurge, Punta Tunic, or Cathedral. These are separate sites along the same mid-south stretch. So nice currents. We didn't have it that fast, but they can pick up. You got jacks, snappers, moray eels, occasional nurse sharks, rays as well. We saw at the Cathedral, which is, I think, my favorite side of the trip. You go through an underwater version of a medieval citadel, narrow core passes, overhangs, and all of a sudden you have this opening. You swim in, and it's just light shining down from different small holes, and it really feels like you're in an old-fashioned European church. In terms of wrecks, we have the C-53, located just offshore from the town of San Miguel. It's a 130-foot World War II minesweeper that was artificially sunk or purposely sunk in 1999, I think. So it's been there for some time. It lies between 15 and 24 meters, 50 to 60 feet. I think I actually reached 30 meters at some point. There is current on top of it, so you drop fast down to the wreck and you stay there for as long, and then you exit up the rope. There is some penetration opportunities to go into the cargo room, go in through some of the cabins on top or the steering room as well. It's a really nice feeling of it. It's artificial wreck, which means you don't have to worry about damaging yourself way too much or getting stuck because people have thought this through and removed a lot of the things in there. Last dive site I'm going to cover is Devil's Throat. It's one of Cozumel's most legendary dive sites, located at Puerto Sur near the island's southern tip. So an advanced dive, as I mentioned earlier. You'll drop down into the blue around 24 meters, 80 feet, and then enter a narrow tunnel and come out at around 40 meters, 130 feet. So it's dark, tight, and not for beginners at all. But it is unforgettable if you are up to this kind of diving. Experienced divers and trained for this kind of diving. It's really an amazing dive site. That's all the dive site I had to cover in this video, but there are so many more dive sites to experience in Cozumel. So if you want to see all of them, I have a full article on diving in Cozumel with more dive sites. So find that one on diving.com, or have a link in the description as well. But now we're coming into how you should get to the Cozumel and how you're going to be diving it. So getting there is straightforward. There's two options, or I'm guessing even more, but you can fly directly to Cozumel International Airport. It's a smaller airport, which means limited flights, and also a bit more expensive, I found at least. So there's some extra charge for that. You do pay a bit more flying directly. Of course, depends on where you're from and what kind of airlines are operating out of your airport. Option 2 is to fly into Cancun. They have a larger airport, much more direct lines coming in. Then there is a taxi shuttle bus from Cancun to Playa del Carmen to the harbor. It's like 1 to 2 hours, depending on traffic. And then it takes about 40 minutes ferry to Cozumel. I did this, and it's longer, but a nice ride, and enjoyed it. The only issue I had was that you get dropped around a shopping center, shopping street, and then you have to walk down around 500 meters down a rather steep paved road down to the ferry. So you can't drive straight up to the ferry and then you walk on board the ferry. And that's fine, except if you are carrying a lot of dive gear, it becomes cumbersome, especially also going back, because then you have to drag it all the way up. It's possible, it's nice, ferry ride is nice, large ferries, seating for everybody. That was pleasant. Once you're on the island, diving is mostly done by boat. So two tank boat dives are the common things to do. Dive shops will pick you up at the resort. That's how I was picked up. Walk out to the pier, boat comes, picks you up on time every time. Boats are fairly large with, you know, room for your gear, room for you, lunch in between dives, really nice, comfortable experience of diving like this. You go either do a back roll on the side of the boat or do a step off at the back, depending of course of the operator and the boat they're doing. There's a bunch of options of like stay and dive packages as well, where the resort and a dive center is mixed in together, where you do 5 days, 2 dives a day, a dive package. That's a way of saving a bit of money because they mix together. So that's an option for you as well. There is also options of shore diving. Some of these dive center resorts are offering shore diving, but do not go on your own without knowing what you're doing, because there is drift, there is strong current. So make sure you know what you're doing, get a proper briefing, and be experienced in both shore diving and diving independently if you do that, if you don't go with a dive guide. This trip was made possible by Deep Exposure Dive Center. And if you're looking for a top tier operator, these are the people you want to contact. The crew was incredible. Dive guides, amazing. Boat crew, amazing. They handled, you know, all the gear with ease. Dive briefings, safety protocols, timing was really nice. Comfortable, personal as well. So everything was just done A grade and above. I'll add a link in the description below so you can check them out if you are planning to go to Cozumel. And do tell them DIVEIN sent you. I'm sure they're going to give you a nice treat as well. Most boat dives go kind of like this. You do a back roll or a giant stride entering the water, drift along, go down a bit fast, but you have time at the surface. Go down, drift along the reef, go into swim through caves, stop a bit, wait for the group, make sure you stay close to your dive guide. At the end, as soon as you're on, depending on the dive guide, 50 bar or 70 bar, or dive guides will shoot it up at DSMB and you will safely do your safety stop and then exit the water, go up on the boat, do lunch. Second dive is the same, and that was the comment for all the dives I did there. Really nice, really comfortable, easy diving. Remember to keep close to your dive buddy. This is drift diving. Keep close to the dive guide as well. Make sure you see them. I got lost at one point because I was doing some photos of something. Dive guides were good at staying inside, well, not staying inside, but actually waiting for me. So really professional dive guides. And coming into that professional dive sites, what are the downsides? Why should you consider not going to Cozumel? Because even in paradise, there are quirks. So currents can be strong, especially in the south end. So stick close to your dive guide. And if you're new to drift diving, make sure you get a proper briefing or tell the dive center at least, hey, this is my first time, perhaps dive with an instructor, just you or your buddy and an instructor. Crowds in Cozumel is a thing. Cozumel is popular, it's a popular dive site, it's a popular tourist destination as well. The day I left, I could count at least 6 huge cruise ships at the harbor, which means a lot of people come in, they go snorkeling, they go to the city, there's a lot of there. We do also see some reef wear, not bad at any point, I've seen much worse, but at the popular dive sites, there is reef wear. At the popular snorkeling spots close to the cruise ship docks, it's a lot worse. Then dive operators, and this is not something I experienced at all, but there is, I won't say shady, but dive centers that probably should mix up their organization or do it better. Again, I can just warmly recommend Deep Exposure Dive Center. They were super professionals, really good at what they were doing. Warm recommendation for that. All right, we have a giveaway in this video as well, as I promised. So all you have to do is like the video and subscribe to the channel. Then second up, tell me which of the dive sites I mentioned in this video that you would like to try and dive, or if you already dived it, how you felt it. And then also suggest a dive destination I should do next. Please drop that in the comments as well. And as we're wrapping up here, diving in Cozumel is really like easy traveling. It's warm, great food, stunning reef, lovely people, lovely food, nice culture. It's a tourist destination, so do be aware of that. There's a lot of divers, but still for a good reason. I'd enjoyed it. I personally love drift diving, so that was a really plus for me. I hope you enjoyed this dive into Cozumel with me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below in the comments. If you want to know more about diving in Cozumel as well, find the full guide to diving in Cozumel, where we have more details of how to get around and more dive sites as well. It's on divein.com, or find the link in the description as well.